is still 400 years. Another version of the Bible wrote it for 30 years. Now, do you know that period of the 430 years, there was nothing written down. So, nothing written down in that period. The Bible has 66 books. I can bet you, assuming things were written down that period, it would have been more than 66 books. I might be wrong. I'm not trying to be. I'm not a trained pastor, yet. I'm not a theologian, but I even forgot to tell you my own core values. I think as a human being, we all should have core values, just the way I'm talking about philosophy. My core values are common sense, number one, hard work, number two, and pragmatism, number three. Common sense is common sense, like I was just talking now. What was driving my explanation was common sense. And I started this lecture for something, hard work. Maybe this is not hard work, but hard work for you. Then pragmatism. What's pragmatism? What is in it? Why are you doing what you are doing? Why am I doing this? To explain to somebody to say, this thing works for me. I think it will work for you. So I'm happy if somebody calls me tomorrow to say, that thing helped me, or that message changed my life. I'm happy. So it's pragmatic. Coming back to the story. Now, the Israelites stayed there for 430 years. Let's say 400 years. Nothing was written down directly that will form a book, that will form a chapter. So the other ones that were written down, and we have 66 books. So please keep a journal of yourself. It's very, very important. Now, I want to define for you success and failure. Very simple definition. Failure is nothing more than a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Few errors in judgment repeated every day. Few errors in judgment, you're supposed to do on that exercise. It doesn't really matter. I won't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. You keep procrastinating. You're supposed to read that book. You just feel it really doesn't matter. Yes, it really doesn't matter. Failure. For instance, you are working in an organization. Your colleagues are taking masters, they are doing ACCA, they are doing ICANN, they are doing PhD, they are taking that certificate. And they are really not being promoted for it, maybe. But because it's an organization, there's no much difference between who is doing and who is not doing. So it doesn't really matter. Just ignore, few errors in judgment repeated every day. Now, let's say you guys have left that job or you guys are retired. Those guys can usually easily go into consultancy, maybe. And you that just stayed years, now will just be a pensioner, trying to capture yourself with NIMSI, trying to do your, BVN and all the sorts. Because you have not created a new world for yourself. Now, what did those guys knew that you did not know? What they knew was that they had a destination, and they knew where they were going, and they were able to think through it to say, we need to expand our frontiers. What did you not know? You just knew you had a job, but you didn't have a future. And that will definitely affect your future. Then you now come into the paradigm of waiting for your children to come and support you. Meanwhile, your children are you now. Are you supporting your parents adequately? Maybe yes, maybe no. Are they staying with you 24/7? Of course, no. Maybe only when your wife delivers or when you deliver, you call your mom in, or you send them back to wherever they are. So you have also left them. So that's what you should expect. It's not the bad one. That is how it is. So you should do it that Whether the kids are leaving you, you are fine. Because you have created the future to be fine. Then, formula for success. A few discipline, practice every day. A few discipline, practice every day. They usually say an apple a day takes you away from the doctor. What if it's true? Do you practice it? An apple a day takes you away from the doctor. What if it's true? Do you practice it? I don't know. Success. A few discipline, practice every day. That exercise you do every day. That maintaining diet every day. You don't take sugar, your sugar level, What if it's true? The doctor say stay away from sugar. But sugar is sweet. Can you? Because if you take it now, it's not going to affect you. But gradually, it's accumulating. How can we change the errors in the formula of failure into the discipline required in the formula of success? The answer is simple. The answer is by making the future an important part of your current philosophy. Making the future, like you retire. What are you planning for retirement? At 60, you are retired. Do you know from 60 to 70 is 10 years? That's a decade. From 60 to 80 is 20 years. That's his course, yes. 20 good years, you are unemployed. Wow. Who has sold you that wrong philosophy to say I'm a pensioner? You are unemployed man, an unemployed woman. There's nothing like retirement in your mind. I shared it in my former webinar. An Indian man of 90 years went and enrolled for a master's program that was to run for 2 years. I didn't get another story about it, but I can tell you that for that 2 years, that man will not die. It's straight. That's the philosophy. So, you are the 60. You are now, thinking. I met a man in Abuja one time. He retired 2004. In 2014, he went to, he went to NYC. That was where he served as a deputy director. We were there to pick a form that we used to supply. Before we went there, he was telling me about how he was the assistant deputy director. He has a secretary that was his boy. That secretary is still working there. When we got there, the secretary was the one telling us, go and pick the form. The secretary did not go take us to where we could pick the form. We went to one director's office to greet the director. The director was practically like, what a hell are you doing in my office with this guy that I don't even know? I was really, he didn't say it to, but body language. When we were on our way going, we're not talking about the gains that we would have made from that supply if it had happened, about 400,000 naira. That's 2014, imagine. And that thing never happened. One of his sons then was working in FROS, but the feel of his son working in FROS was not even getting to the moon. Maybe the son was just at the entry level of FROS, who knows? Even if he was the director, was the direct responsibility of that of his father? The answer is no. So from 2004 to 2014, that man was an unemployed adult. And guess what? He had a girlfriend at that time. So if you can have a girlfriend at the age of 70, you cannot work from 60 to 70. So who sold him that wrong philosophy? That there is something called retirement. It's wrong. So when you retire, the next thing is now to be going to queue, going to snap. No, you have to think within the box. What can you do? What have you been doing that you can convert into something that can help your world? So you have to think. I said, if this is true, why don't more people take time to ponder on the future? The answer is that they are so caught up in the current moment that it doesn't seem to really matter. You're working, you're a director, you don't think about the future because that time you're still a director. But one day, very soon, you stop to be a director. Now, few disciplines I recommend: positive diet, exercise, reading, keep a journal, attend a class, listen more, observe more. These are the few disciplines, like I said, and for you to know, you need to be ahead of your time. I will conclude with the story of the sower. The sower, according to the story, went to sow. Now, I can vividly tell you that sower had information about sowing. How do I know? He sowed the first one, and the birds came and took them away. What did he do? He kept on sowing because he knew before then that in the future the seed will germinate. He knew. So the first one fell, and the birds of life took it. Assuming he did not know, what he would have done was to go to market and buy catapults and start pursuing the bird. You know what would happen to him? He would leave the field. The story wouldn't have been written down because there was no sowing. But he didn't pursue the bird. He was there to sow. And he kept sowing. The number 2 didn't also succeed. The number 3 didn't also succeed. You know the story more than me. But he knew something. He set his sail very well, the destination. And finally, the 4th one fell on the good soil. Some 30, some 60, some 100. Wow. And again, that's a mystery. Why 30? Why 60? Why 100? If anybody calls you for that class, don't attend it because there's no answer. That is what it's meant to be. 30, 60, 100 ratio. So, you need to know. And how do you know? Like I said, if I should use one word, reading. Reading, reading. And Ben Carson, Reading University, has come in to help you to be a good reader, to manage your reading, give you books, manage it for you, make you a better person, change your philosophy for the better person, maximize your potentials. Like I said, all life forms strive for it to its maximum, except for human beings. Are you that human being that his choice will limit him or her from achieving his God's destined purpose in life? So you have to be part of that life that will maximize his potentials. You look out for the series 2, and we're still going to find a way to give you the soft copies of this class. But look out for series 2, which is on attitude. That is number 2. And that will be coming out shortly. And thank you very much for your time. I will expect questions. If you want to go into personal mentoring, we are into that. You want to discuss about your life, we are into that. You want to change your life from its current despair to what you have always dreamed and think about, we are there for you. You want to know how I paid 70,000 USD for my PhD, despite the fact that the salary was 65 as at the time I started? You have me there. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.